This episode of the Mike on Much podcast is in partnership with Jameson. Good things come in threes. Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast. I'm your host, Mike Veerman. I'm here with my friend and trusted producer, Max Kerman. We're also here with our pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham. Erica is not here this evening. We're recording this.
Why isn't she here, by the way?
I know why.
Is it because her boyfriend's band, The Dirty Nil, are playing tonight?
Yes. That's. I'm guessing.
Shout out to The Dirty Nil.
But she doesn't want to tell us that. Right? Because that would seem maybe unprofessional.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but you're going to be listening to this, Erica, and we're noting your absence.
We know why, probably.
Yeah. But it is an evening record, you know. So yeah, we're doing this in the evening. It's been a couple days since we recorded.
Yeah. This is a bit of a pre-drink for our holiday party that we're going to.
That's true. We are going to an event after this. So we're like, let's knock out a pod for the people, answer some listener questions, maybe talk about some topics, and then go do some holiday drinking.
Yeah, well, to be fair, this holiday party that we're going to is really a way to make amends, I think, because it's our lawyer's holiday party, and they've been taking forever to figure out some legal work. And so this is just an excuse to really take as much
I was wondering if
free
he was
booze
going to
and pizza as possible. Yeah.
I was wondering if he was going to email today because you know how right before you're about to meet someone in person, you don't want any awkwardness.
Wow.
So he's like, "Hey guys, just to let you know, this is going along great.
It's good news.
Yeah.
See you tonight." Yeah. Smart, savvy move. Those lawyers know how to do it.
We will enjoy that party.
We will. But I want to say the beer that we're drinking right now, six-pack here, is from my old roommate, Dave Friesen, who I helped move this morning.
This Jameson's pack you got here.
This awesome Jameson's pack.
Well, the thing is, we're starting with some beer, but then when we get to the party later, we'll have Jameson Ginger and
Because
Lime.
good things come in threes.
Just like podcast hosts.
Yeah. And Jameson, Ginger, and Lime.
So you helped Dave move this morning.
Yeah, it's funny because so Dave, who I went to school with, he lived in the house on Arkell Street. Awesome dude. He listens to the pod. He's up to date with what we do.
Shouts to Dave.
He and his wife and his little baby Jake are moving out to Peterborough. They're getting like a big person's house. Not big person's, a big boy's house. An adult house. They live in an apartment right now. And they're settling down over there, and they needed some extra hands. And he got me. It's funny that he asked me to help because I'm notoriously the least helpful person when it comes to anyone moving. Like that's the reputation I have.
You'd be low on my list of people.
Very
to ask.
low, but I guess he doesn't.
But
have,
you do show up.
I do show up, usually at the end, and usually to schmooze.
You want to get in the photo and have a beer, but you don't want to lift a couch.
Exactly. But I actually had a nice time moving stuff at his house. It was weird. It was like my frame of mind was better. I felt really good about helping Dave for some reason. Whereas like I just did a move from Toronto to Hamilton with Lauren, and I hated every second of it. And that was with professional movers doing all the work. I still didn't even want to have anything to do with it. So I don't know why that. I was trying to like figure out what the mental hurdle was.
Because I think once you move all the stuff in, that's just half the battle. Then it's like I have to deal with all this stuff for the next 2 months.
It was a 1-hour commitment this time. Whereas when you're preparing to move, there's like those conversations where like, we're moving. Have we got boxes for the moving yet? Have we organized the move yet?
You're already giving me anxiety.
Oh, I hate it so
It's just
much.
a workout for you, though.
Yeah, to me it was like an hour being a good guy, and he sends me home with a six-pack.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So it was pretty good.
I'm actually helping my brother move tomorrow morning.
Am I supposed to help with that?
I don't know.
What time is it?
I think he said 9, which is shocking for me, but my brother
After
wants
this
to go
holiday
check.
party?
Yeah.
9 a.m.
Hey, man. Wow. I feel like I'm slowly working my muscle of like I still want to sort of have some autonomy as an adult and like go out and enjoy things like NBA basketball games, drinks with my friends, especially on the holidays. But it doesn't mean that I can then sleep in or like skip my daughter duty. Like I have to be up with Winona. So I've gotten way better at the turnaround time. So in the past I'd be like, oh man, I can't. 9 a.m. That's rough. It's like I'm going to be up at 6:30 anyway with the baby, so it's actually kind of a good thing that Greg wants to get started at 9. Because to me, I've already been up for 2.5 hours with the baby.
Damn.
Is there any chance that you'll get too drunk and then miss the move?
Well, Shane, there's always a chance. But I don't know how many people Greg has. And I'm just really excited to see his place. He's up in like He's downtown, but like up by Bloor now.
He's in
so-
the annex, yeah.
Yeah, man. So and he's really excited, and I'm excited. And
He's right across the street from my grandma's old folks home.
really,
Yeah, you can see like right out of her window.
you can now knock off like 2 visits in
Yeah.
one go these days. You
Yeah.
can pop by Grammy's and then go over to Greg's.
That's my favorite kind of thing because right after I hung out with Dave this morning helping him move, I went down the street to see Peter Rosenthal. He was 2 blocks down, and then I had lunch with Matt Fruckman.
Oh, that's like this is you had like a max
Oh,
gold
it
star
was
day.
so good. Dropped off Lauren in the morning, took the bus into Toronto, helped Dave, go see Peter Rosenthal for brunch, go see Matt Fruckman for lunch, come to the office, 20-minute nap right here, go to your building, get a little 30-minute workout in, 45-minute
Wow.
workout in, shower, back here, eating pizza, drinking beer with the boys. Come on. How good is that?
That was awesome.
That was a nice little run. And also, Manager Ash brought us a pizza. Like, there's a pizza. Like, we are. This is like a good life right now. This is feeling good.
Amazing life.
You know, I hope you're there tomorrow. It'll be fun hang if you're going to come help move, my bro.
We'll see.
Yeah,
What's tomorrow? The 29th?
Maybe.
it's a Friday.
Yeah, tomorrow's Friday.
I took a day off to help my bro.
My
move.
pre-birthday eve. My birthday eve.
I forget you're in November. Holy crap!
Yeah,
Max's
it is tomorrow. Well, the 30th is my birthday.
30th is your birthday. Right now it's the 28th.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
That'd be really-
Maxie! What are the plans this weekend? Are you a birthday celebration kind of guy? I can't remember what you said in
I'm
that.
one of those like I think we've talked about this before. Where it's like I like to do an all shucks thing about it. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh come on, I don't care about my birthday.
It's the man way.
yeah. It's like, I don't put my birthday on my Facebook or any of that stuff. But then I'm secretly hoping word gets out.
Of course, because then you get all the credit for not caring.
Yeah.
And you get more of a celebration.
Guys, this should be a Taste Buds celebrating your own birthday.
Yeah, it's already
Yeah.
your birthday. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are planning then to get busy on the weekend, have some fun.
I don't know. I don't care.
If it happens, it happens. That's exciting. So hopefully we'll remember 2 days from now. I'll send you a text.
Shane, I heard you were hungover this morning.
Who'd you hear that from?
I don't know. Just,
Sammy told you.
Word
didn't
on the street, our buddy. Yeah. Yeah, I heard you because I saw some photos on social media that you were reuniting with your old work buddies.
he? Yeah. Who should I just heard somebody yelling at the top of their lungs.
The Game, the rapper, is having a CD release party in this building right now.
The Game is here.
I don't think he's actually here, but there is a big listening party. That's why when you guys came into the building, there was like a beautiful woman with a clipboard with a guest list kind of thing.
Right.
That's for the Game, man.
Yeah, there's stuff popping on Fifth.
Yeah.
We were told that there was free tacos and alcohol that we should pop by.
Yeah.
If I knew the Game was going to be there.
I don't think he's there, but it's
Wow.
for him.
Okay.
That's cool.
yeah. That's what the yelling is, though.
And I can only guess.
But yes, back to my story. I'm kidding. I'm the one who interrupted it. But I was very drunk, and I have no idea how to like balance my life. It's hard. Like, I want to go tonight, but I don't know if I can. And how is that bad that I don't go to the lawyer party?
Is it because you don't want to go out, or is it because Alex says, just come on home?
No, I told Alex. I was like, listen, I'm partying 3 nights this week. I played it because I went out on Tuesday. Went out last
What was on
night.
Tuesday?
JR is kind of like, it's weird. He's starting like a club or something where we just hang out on Tuesdays and do something on Tuesday nights.
That's kind of nice, actually.
Yeah.
Like, you like a little mandate.
Well, he heard that I was excluded from a Great Cup party. I'm not even making this up. But he's like, I hate that. I hate excluders. He's like, we should start a club where we just, all the excluders get together and we exclude people.
You could call your club the Excluded.
Okay.
You know, kind of like the what was that band? There's like an emo band. Never mind, I can't think of it. But so JR, so that means JR's listening to the podcast, or did he just get this information around?
He only listens if his name is mentioned.
Ah,
So he will listen to the full episode just in case we come around or do a little JR button. But yeah, he listens like, and he asks me all the time, was I mentioned in an episode? He goes, you'll get me to listen to the whole episode. And
So what's the Tuesday night plans then? What are you going to do?
Uh,
What you do?
We went to Westtown the one night, which I talked about, and we went to Merritt this night. And we just talk about JR's life. Or more like I just nod my head a lot and JR's like just telling me stuff. It's pretty good. Like JR's one of the best people to hang out with because there's like zero pressure to carry any load of
Oh, it's the best. That's
conversation.
why I love hanging out
Yeah.
with him. Oh, it's just a delight. Because usually I feel like if I go out, I'm like, I'm going to be the sort of person sort of playing point guard to a degree. Actually, you're good at this too.
Yeah.
Like when you're around, you do a lot of that.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mike is very
thanks.
stress-free to hang out with.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, Mike's got this. But when you're around JR's just like chatting with everybody. You can just be like the meek little guy
Yeah.
on the side. And it's so
You can be a
nice.
wallflower.
You can be, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
you're like a
different-
40%er. Mike's like a 68%er.
What do you mean? What's 40% mean?
Like, I can be stress free if you're around 40% of the time, but sometimes you'll just have little pockets to just let people fend for themselves.
Oh.
Mike's always got my back, so he's like really good. And JR, it's just like, it's almost like, come on, JR, I got a few words here to say. So it's almost too stressful.
Yeah, you're like, let me say one
Yeah.
goddamn thing.
Well, I hope JR's listening to this episode.
He will.
He's a lot. So JR obviously is a television personality based out of Hamilton. He's got this great Christmas party that he throws every year for charity. I think it's got to be sold out. I don't even think we have to promote it. But if it's not, hey, man.
December 23rd, I've done it
Buy a table.
10 years in a row or
Are
something.
you performing this year?
That's the room.
Oh, is it like secret?
No, I'll be there. Come on.
And the beaches are going to be there.
No, it's going to be good.
Is Dirty Nil going to be there?
I'm sure.
Yeah. That means Erica will actually show up.
Yeah, Erica.
We should record a pod before the JR Diggs Christmas show, which is always a huge
That's where
event in
Erica
Hamilton.
met the Dirty Nil guy. If I'm allowed to say this,
yeah.
Erica, if I'm not, edit this part out.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made out on my couch.
Oh!
Wow.
Anyway.
The real test will be because Erica's going to edit this episode if all of this stays.
Yeah.
The listeners will be getting a preview here.
Yeah, I saw Kyle at the coffee shop the other day. Kyle's a great
Yeah,
guy.
I saw him the other day too.
Yeah.
I ran into Kyle at the show with Alex Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he was a big fan of Alex Cameron.
No, he wasn't in it.
No.
But anyway, so Shane, is that all you're saying about last night? That's all you did?
There's so many restrictions to last night that I don't even want to talk about last night.
Okay, fair enough. That's
Yeah,
fine.
but what I will say is,
there's an embargo, just for our listeners.
There is,
There's
yeah.
an embargo. We're not going to get into it. That's the
I
last
had
one I'll
a
say.
brilliant idea to create a character named Sammy. So anytime we talk about somebody who we can't talk about, we just say we met this guy Sammy,
Yeah.
and Sammy's the guy we talk about. But I thought it was genius. You guys didn't like it though.
I love the idea, but we
there
got to
are, like-
respect Sammy's wishes.
Sammy has very strict, we have to respect the rules of Sammy's life. And there was like 10 guys out last night, and maybe somebody shouldn't have been out and didn't make, got a little too drunk, and they were just like, you can't talk about it on the podcast.
Right.
So respect to Sammy.
We're respecting Sammy's wishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys lose a really funny story
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
involves all sorts of funny
Yeah, come to this
antics.
lawyer party if you're listening. We'll tell it to you there. Well, never mind. It's a podcast, not live, but whatever.
But, so what happened is though, I was out, and then I was about to like go home. Sammy shows up. And Sammy likes going to a lot of bars. Can I say that about him?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sammy wants to go to 10 bars in 1 hour period. And Sammy's making me buy him all the drinks. Because it's like I'm like paying for his hang. Anyways, it was like I was not expecting this night to go this way. I end up... like I'm actually wearing Sammy's shirt right now. I had to borrow it. I actually like this shirt.
It's a great shirt.
Because I'm very embarrassed.
Fits
to
you
do this.
good.
Thank you.
You can't. You should go to this lawyer party. You might not look better than that.
I just feel so horrible because of last night. And I did, and I'm very embarrassed to admit this, I'm way too old to do this. If you're a grown man past 30, you should not be vomiting, I don't think. Like, it just came up. Like, it wasn't a warning, like, oh, man, I think I might have to go to the, it's just, blah. Like, it got all over Sammy, ruined my shirt. Now I'm wearing Sammy's very cool shirt, and I appreciate it. But it was just the worst day at work today. And and then I forgot I had made a meeting a while ago with the semen analysis clinic. So the doctor's like, just making sure you're going to show up today. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm just because they were kind of worried that I was just doing the semen analysis because Birchall or the Nut and I are going to be
Ironic name at this point.
yeah, we're going to be analyzing our sperm to see who's got the higher sperm count. But they wanted to make sure this wasn't just going to be a joke segment. So I was like, listen, my wife's an educator. We have the whole blog. We talk about miscarriages, everything. We're very open and honest about it. And yes, comedy is a part of it, but that's just more of a conduit to get people to listen to it, and we are going to take it very seriously, but it's going to be a healthy mix. Anyway, they still want to meet me. And I'm like, okay, I think it's going to be a 5-minute meeting. They have a boardroom set up and a PowerPoint presentation for me. And it's a catered lunch.
Wow.
And it's all for me. So I think they thought I was like going to be like a normal guy or something, like a real media person. But I showed up just hair a mess, this shirt, like I'm just like, ugh. And I had to hold it together for the entire time.
How long was it?
It was an hour and a half.
Holy!
Yeah, and it was a Russian guy. And he was very funny, but you had to take him very seriously. We're gonna meet him because he's gonna come down and do the results.
A Russian guy.
He wanted to.
Dr. Wino Yankov.
I like this. I don't know why, but I like that a lot. But because that really was more of a accent than a what it was. Dr. Wino Yankov.
So much German.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, shit.
But he has a very good Russian name. I can't remember. Sminar? No.
Anyway, he'll be on the pod.
He's gonna come down and. No pun intended.
Yeah. So you and the nut. So we've talked about this in a previous episode. You guys are going to compare your sperm count to see who is more has the higher count.
Yeah, because he's concerned that he has a low count, and I'm convinced I have a high count.
And I guess we'll find out the results of that.
Mm-hmm. And well, it was funny because like a woman came in too because she wanted to suss me out, and she's like, "Well, why do you think you have a high sperm count?" And it was so hard on the spot to be like professional about that question because I didn't want to seem like a goof. I'm like, well, every time I've had unprotected sex, there's been a pregnancy. And I thought it was pretty good. I was pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, that's good.
And what did she say?
She did. She kind of was like, ooh, and kind of like laughed a little bit. But it was good. I thought I handled it appropriate.
Oh, my goodness.
But it was surreal. Like, I wish you could have been there to describe it much better than I am because he showed me all, like, the jerk-off stations and everything. And I went
Those are the official names.
Yeah.
Please, Shane, come over to jerk-off station number 1. I can't do Russian. I don't know what Russian is.
Well, it was so fascinating because he was telling me stories, too. Like, there was a 14-year-old. He had cancer, so they had him in there to save his sperm for kid. Then there was a Jewish guy who it's against his religion to jerk it. So
this was in secret.
Yeah, and so he had to he had to have sex with his wife into a condom and bring the condom in.
Wow. Doesn't the sperm survive that?
Apparently, yeah. They have this whole
He must have chilled that condom immediately.
Yeah. And then, like, some people don't like jerking at the jerk-it station, so they bring their wife in to, like, do it for them. Like, It was very interesting. But we were having all these conversations, like, very straight-faced and normal.
Wow.
It was very cool.
Where is this clinic?
It is on 700 Bay Street.
Let's write that down for a second.
Yeah. Just to use the jerk-it room?
Yeah. Yeah. What would you do if they were like, say they test your sperm, like, oh my goodness, this is literally the highest count we've ever seen. You have superhuman sperm.
You need to use this for good.
It's very valuable.
I'd call Guinness for sure. It's been a dream of mine. I'd always wanted to be in that book.
Could you imagine getting in for that? That would be great. I would congratulate you. But I was going to say, what if they were like, there are many women who would like to use this sperm to get pregnant. Will you donate your sperm?
Alex would not have that at all.
Yeah. So that's why I'm wondering what you would say.
We've talked about this. Obviously, it's one of those conversations you have. And she doesn't like it.
They were going to give you $15,000 a donation. So every time that you went to one of these stations and then provided a little cup of your seed.
I'd say yes, but Alex would probably say no.
They say, okay, they up it to $20,000.
That's only $5,000.
I want the number that Alex would allow you.
Right.
For $1 million, she would for sure. Okay. What if it's $1 million?
$1 million baby.
Yeah. There we go. But I have to actually engage in the intercourse. Do you think she'd let me?
For $1 million?
Yeah.
This is the plot of Indecent Proposal.
But in Indecent Proposal, is it a given that they're going to have sex, or is it
Just
like
call Alex right now?
It's you're loving these Collins lately.
It could be very gimmicky.
In the plot for Indecent Proposal, yeah, Robert Redford is a millionaire, and he goes to Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore, and he says, "I want one evening with your wife. It will be $1 million." And the whole thing is basically they think about it and they go, "We'll accept that we really need the money," but it actually ruins their relationship because Woody Harrelson can't get over the sort of jealousy. Not only because also, like, I think the Robert Redford character does like her more so than just.
Hey,
oh,
sorry.
we got her. She's called in.
I'm just recording the pod, so no swearing. But we're just wondering a question. So I went to the sperm center today, as you know.
Yeah.
If a woman offered me $1 million for my sperm, no, let's start at 10,000. For 10,000 for my 15,000 for my sperm, would you be okay with her having it? We don't have sex or anything, though. She just gets the sperm.
Why is she getting the sperm?
Because she wants it. Because she found out I have the best stuff.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah, but just would you be okay with it?
No.
Okay, for $1 million, would you?
What, is she making a baby with it? Like, is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
She's not going anywhere near you?
No.
Yeah.
That'd be okay for $1 million?
100,000.
100.
Oh.
You do, okay, but let's say I had to actually do it for real.
Yeah, I'd kill you. Like, I think I'd kill you first.
Okay, we're just wondering.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
That answers that.
Good little
So
gimmick
for
segment.
100,000, there would be another little Cunningham running around potentially.
Yeah, it's weird to lower the amount in the.
I think that was her being honest. I actually respected sort of her saying, this is actually my number.
Yeah.
Instead of staying at the fictitious. Because here's the thing. You could get offered 100,000. That's not out of the realm of possibility. That actually feels plausible on some level.
Why?
We could have a very wealthy listener that maybe is a couple that's having trouble conceiving.
Mm-hmm.
They want a little shaniac. Maybe they're shaniacs and they want your seed. And maybe they can cobble together the 100K. This could happen.
That'd be neat. Yeah.
That'd be very interesting.
Mhm. Would you do it, Max? Because you're probably way more likely than me. Actually, Shaniacs are probably a little more demented than Arkells fans.
That's a good question. I mean, but there's enough other willing participants. It's one of those things I probably wouldn't want to get involved in. You know what I mean? And there's enough other people like donating their sperm to get
For $1 million, you won't donate your sperm.
because they specifically want.
They want
mine.
yours to build a
It
kid.
feels a little weird to me.
Of course it is. That's what the $1 million is for.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's call Lauren.
All right.
Just do all the phone calls.
Not to belabor it too much, but Mike, $1 million for your sperm. Do you do it?
To be honest, it'd be a very sort of long conversation about the ethics, how involved am I in the child's life? Am I able to live with the thought that I have a child out there that I don't have any contact with? Sort of my own sense of responsibility. Like, I think it's very plausible I walk away from that, depending on the dynamics.
Let's say the kid's in Africa.
Well, but that's the thing is, it's like I think I would want to be like if I had a kid walking around out there, I think I would want to be involved on some level. So it'd almost be even weirder to just take the money, give them the sperm, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Do you know? It's just there'd be a lot of ethical questions, but you cut a check and you put it in front of me, and then they send me to one of those rooms you're talking about.
Yeah.
How strong am I going to be, and do ethics go out the window? It's a very interesting question. I don't know the answer, but I imagine after a long, drawn out conversation with Danica, maybe we pass. You know, but I'm not immune to like knowing what $1 million could do for our life.
I feel like this is the third segment off the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. We got right into it.
Yeah.
These evening pods have a different energy.
They
It's
do.
almost like Mom After Dark.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, and he took me like, and by the way, I was like almost gonna vomit too, and then he's like, "Oh, do you want?"
We have a room for that.
But he took me in the room where they're all analyzing the semen, and then I looked under the microscope and I thought I'm not gonna like this. This is gonna make me really queasy, but it was very cool to see all those little guys swimming.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Whose was it? Was it yours?
No, I didn't have time to do it.
Did you want to? You know, sometimes in the morning, you're like,
A little bit, yeah. The hungover hornies.
yeah.
I didn't.
Okay, cool.
Did you see the kind of materials they had in the rooms? Like
No, there was just a TV, but I assume most people just use their phone, wouldn't they? Because what are the odds that TV is gonna like?
have your specific
Yeah.
thing that you're into?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, the Jenna Hayes channel. I know you don't know who it is, man.
To call back to last episode.
All right.
Well, there you go. That's an interesting way to start it. Should we jump into some topics?
Sure.
So
Well, before we do that, you went to a Raptors game, Max, and you sat courtside.
I did. So our label Universal invited the band to this Raptors game. We were in a suite, but they also had these courtside tickets, 2 of them. And so in the second quarter, Mike and I got to go sit there.
Mike D, your guitar
Mike
player.
D and I.
Yeah.
And then in the third quarter, Nick and Tim sat there. And then the fourth quarter, manager Ash and manager Sarah got to sit there. So it was very cool. But I got this one Instagram of Norman Powell basically falling into me at the end of the quarter.
Did you know that was going to happen?
No, it was just total coincidence.
Because it was the end of quarter shot, so you knew that something was going to happen in that last second. They had 7 seconds to get a shot off, so it's a good bet to film those because you might get a half court heave, you might get some crazy three, whatever.
Exactly. So
you were rolling.
So I'm rolling. He falls into me. Marcus All picks him up. It's all happening within like a 12-second thing. It's very cool. These I ended up talking to these 2 guys next to me. And the fellow right next to me was this guy, it's an older gentleman, and I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And he asked me what I'm doing, and he says, "Oh, I'm in real estate." And it turns out he's from North York, went to the same high school as my mom, So we start talking about that. I'm like, oh, my mom lived on this street. And he said, I used to play ball hockey on this street. Oh, you went to York Mills. Oh, do you know sorry, because I know some of the people that went to high school with my mom. So it's just kind of like a nice little connection to make. And then I show him the video of Norman Powell falling into me. He goes, oh my God, that's so cool. Can you send it to me? So I said, yeah, no problem. So I sent it to him. And then he texted me like the next day. He goes, hey, nice to meet you. This is great. Thanks, man. Mitch Goldhar. So I'm like, I'm Mitch Goldhar. So that's all. And then I end up, I'm like, I wonder what Mitch Goldhar does. Guess how much he's worth? The first website that comes up.
I'm going to say 100 million.
I'd say 25 million.
$2.8 billion.
Whoa!
Shit. Are those just regular court sites?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But he's a real estate guy. So like, he owns all the Walmart Supercenter things. Or
That's
whatever.
where the money's
Imagine
at.
he wanted your sperm.
Oh my God.
Like it just. Hey, thanks for that Norm video. One more thing.
$1 million. Well, what do you plan to use it for?
Anyway, I just thought
That's my business. Well, that's interesting. That reminds me of when I went to I got to do the fancy seats at the Rogers Cup tennis, and I met that guy who was like into boating.
Oh yeah.
And then we had each other's
Like-minded
numbers.
guy.
I know. I was like, I can get into this community. But I never followed up with text. I didn't even know how to do it. Like, hey, do you want to get a drink? And I know that
I
like
remember that.
a lot of like networkers and sort of like good like sort of people that are very good at social networking, they wouldn't hesitate to be like, hey, like random dude who I did get along with and met at this tennis match. I know you're probably worth a lot of money and I'd like to get into your sort of circles. They wouldn't hesitate to be like, let's meet up for a coffee or a beer. It would feel so weird and sort of like lecherous of me to do that I don't allow myself to. But I think that you are a lot more. You don't mind doing that.
Well, and also there's a weird, funny thing that happens when people meet guys in bands.
Yes.
Because like they're constantly like meeting other rich dudes that are kind of in competition with or something, like other business guys, and there's nothing interesting to them about it. There's like not like, oh, this guy's another titan of industry, like who is it? But there's like, oh, this guy's in a band. Like there's like this like quote unquote artist quality that like I think gets them sort of more interested in having that kind of conversation. And I think I'm pretty good at that. So anyway, but I texted my friend Matt Fruckman. I was like, Matt. So I took a picture with him. So I was like, Matt, see this guy in the middle?
Could I see him?
This guy. The middle guy right there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm like, so he asked for the video. I took him Norm and I texted him Mitch Goldhar. We hit it off because he went to the same high school as my mom, York Mills. And then I'm like, and then Matt goes, so you sat courtside and you met a rich person and he was nice to a famous rock star who was also sitting courtside? I don't understand the punchline of the story. And I was like, he's just rich. $2.8 billion rich.
Okay, so where does it go from here? Are you going to try and hang out with Mitch?
Yeah, no. But
Come on.
What am I going to do? I actually don't sincerely have
He
zero
has fucking
interest
courtside seats. Just to develop the friendship, and he'll bring you to another game courtside. And you actually get to sit there all 4 quarters, not just the second.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you should say, hey, Mitch, I want to invite you to the game on me. And just because you know he'll be like, oh, no, Max, trust me. Like, you come with me.
Yeah, I sent a picture of the tickets up in the 300s.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You should.
Play it dumb like you don't know how rich he is.
When he hears this podcast, he'll be very,
If
upset.
Mitch is listening to this podcast, I think we should all have a hang. It might be nice, the 4 of us hanging out. Shane, if Mitch was going to this lawyer party tonight, would you change your mind and come?
No, just because I feel like I'd get so nervous around Mitch, I would need to really commit to being drunk. And right now, it's hard for me to get drunk because I am a brilliant networker when I'm drinking. Like,
That's the title of this episode.
I've woken up. Like, I remember you played a show at Soho House once,
Yeah.
and I was like, you actually called me out in the middle of the show. You're like, we got a guy here who directed one of my music videos. It was for Where You Going,
Yeah.
and everyone looked at me and was like, who? And then I proceeded to get like really confident and cocky because I knew all eyes were on me, so I got kind of drunk and I was yelling stuff out the whole show, like,
I do
fuck Nick. Like I was just like being an idiot. But anyway, that morning I woke up with all these phone numbers from guys and they were like, hey man, so we still on for that meeting? And they were like, I told the guy I was going to direct his music video. I just had so much stuff. But that's happened to me probably like 8 times. And I just ghost all the people the next morning because
Yeah.
I'm not as confident, obviously.
Yeah, the next day.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into topics.
Okay, so today on the show, we are doing some topics.
We
are
haven't
going
even
to-
talked about one topic yet, have we?
No.
Wow.
We're just shooting the
how
shit.
long are we?
It's a nice hang. We're about a half hour in.
Nice.
Well, a few things are going on. In the city of Toronto, there was a very scary story.
Was it scary?
Well, I don't know.
I thought it was funny.
There was a man going around the downtown area throwing feces at people. I'd assume his. I don't know where you would get other people's feces. Maybe you hang out at toilet stalls. But he was walking around and throwing poop at people. They have caught him. He is now apprehended. Why did you want to talk about this story, Max? You put it as number one in the topics in the
I just
text
thought it was
group.
fascinating. I just like,
And it should have been number 2. No.
Yeah.
well, I thought this was a story that you liked.
I know, and for that reason, I promised myself I was not going to make any poo jokes or light of this because it's just so on brand for me to do that. So I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to take this serious.
Well, do we understand the rationale for this?
I don't know if a motive has come out. I don't know. I mean, again, I haven't been like riveted by this story. I feel like manager Ash and intern Erica that's been most of the chatter in our pod group about this story.
My wife did send me a funny text the other day. My wife like loves this guy and how happy he is.
He looks very happy in the footage when he's like walking around the halls. He's got a big smile on his face.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to know what his like political agenda is here, because the fact that he's throwing it not at like Bay Street or lawyers or some other interest group, but he's throwing it at universities. I don't understand what he's getting at there, because people generally like universities. Not that they don't have their own issues, but
Well, I would like to assume that this person is mentally unwell.
sure.
I don't think this is just a normal.
Yeah, but you don't think he has an agenda that could be worth understanding?
Possibly. A lot of people are saying it could be racially motivated. But my wife's having like horrible morning sickness, like all pregnancy sickness. It's like the worst pregnancy ever. But she sent me a text that said, I can't look at this picture and not smile. It's impossible. His smile is so infectious. He loves poop dumping. But he's just so happy. He actually looks like Charlie Murphy.
Well, they say if you have a job that you love, you never work a day in your life.
It's true.
That's funny. Yeah, I guess we don't really know much else.
Well, okay, here's a question. If somebody throws poo on you, say you're one of these victims, how does that make you feel? Do you freak out? Are you
That's not nice.
like, yeah, it's like, well, at least he was happy as you're wiping feces off your face. Like, let's empathize with the victims for a second. How would you feel? Like, if someone threw shit on me as I was walking through the halls of my university, I think I'd be stunned, obviously. Like, I guess once I realized what it was, depending on the sort of like the level of smellage, I might vomit.
Wouldn't it be awesome though? Because this news story went so viral so fast that people were like looking out for him and almost ready for him to attack. If you just had a little shit or piss of your own, and he comes at you and you're like, boom, you just get him in the face. Wouldn't that be wicked
The
justice?
only way to stop a poo thrower, the only way to
Urine in the face might be worse.
the only way to stop a bad poo thrower is a good guy with the poo.
I was like, Mike is going to say something really good here. He's working it out.
I was trying to go with like with gun control. They're like people that are advocates for having guns. It's like the way to stop a bad guy with the gun is a good guy with the gun.
okay.
I was trying to do that with the poo guy by basically like fighting shit with shit. Man, these evening ones have a different vibe. I'll tell you that.
I want to fight for that to be the name of the episode. That's funny.
Fight shit with shit.
No, the way you worded it, like kind of clunky.
Oh God, nightmare.
Who do you think would handle poo being thrown on them the best?
I will say, I think as dads, I change a lot of diapers. I deal with shit on a daily basis now. Before I was a dad, I think I would be a lot more sort of like poo isn't as gross as it once was to me conceptually. I feel like I'm dealing with it constantly. It is my own kid's poo, so it's not the same. But I just feel like I'm handling it all the time now, so it's not as much of a foreign sort of thing. So I don't know if I'd be the best at it. It'd probably be more the insult than the actual physical poo. But this episode.
This is
really
the grossest episode.
This is the most bodily
far.
fluid episode we've ever done.
Maybe because Erica's not here just to give us like disapproving looks. I feel like she'd
guy
monitor
talk,
the
man.
situation.
This is locker room talk. Who do you think, Shane, would handle it the worst?
I think you.
Oh, interesting. Oh, out of the three of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you'd have the funniest reaction, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you would be the guy I'd want to see it, like, filmed. And I think Max would be, depending on the day, because sometimes you have no tolerance for that. But now it seems like you'd actually like to have it happen.
Yeah, it kind of would be. I like to be part of the story.
Normally, though, I'd say I'd handle it the best.
How'd you react to it?
I would just probably play it cool.
Oh! Moon walks out of there with shit all over his face.
Cool. That guy. Something's different about you today, Shane.
Go to the office, smoking a cigarette. You have not removed the poo from your face. Oh my God. Nothing bothers that guy. Cool as a cucumber. Smells terrible. Oh man. I don't think the nut would handle a poo.
Oh,
throw.
he'd be the worst. Like when
He would probably go
when
into therapy.
Dan's dog like chewed up the nut's shoes. Like he had almost had a heart attack and like had to go see a counselor or something. It was just like so brutal.
I can never take him seriously though when he's mad though. Like how would he like? All right, you got your poo in your hand. Now get out of here. Like I can't picture. Like I've never really seen him like truly mad and taking him seriously.
Yeah, he got mad at us one time. It was late.
Like you in general. Oh, I think I know this story. Can we tell that story in the pod or no?
No, let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving. Our next topic. Obama shared an article from Vox essentially about the way that you would talk with people who hold opposing views than you. So, like, I think that this article probably came out on the eve of Thanksgiving because a lot of American families are going home and spending time with their families who maybe have different political views than them. Maybe they're MAGA people or Trump people, and then they're sort of the younger generation is very much not that. Then they got to go sit around a dinner table, and all of them have to basically avoid talking about anything other than neutral shit, or else it all explodes. So this article sort of tells you the more effective ways to, I guess, get people to either understand where you're coming from or bend more toward your position on things. And there's the two sort of tactics they talked about, which was sort of like a moral equivalency was a one way to do it, like to basically sort of like...
Number one, if the argument you find convincing doesn't resonate with someone else, find out what does. And number two was...
is listen.
Yeah, it's just basically just like listen. I thought this was... I was hoping, Shane, you'd come... I didn't realize how hungover you were today. I was hoping you'd like get somebody on the phone and try to convince them of something.
You were obsessed with Collins, I gotta say.
Wait, you honestly thought in the entire freedom history, I've never gotten someone on the phone, oddly, except for today. But you expected me to just be passionate about this Obama issue, which is the most max issue of all time. Like literally, Obama's advice is the most generic bullshit. Like anyone could, hey, guys, why don't we listen? Obama's so smart. I know. I love him. Like anyone could say this. This is not a story to talk about.
I disagree because I feel like no one actually does the things that he's espousing. That's like, I mean, sure, it's very simple advice, but it's actually like a good reminder of like how to possibly get through to someone. I don't know.
I find like I'm fascinated always in every angle or side of every issue. So although I personally lean left and have my own views, Shane will attest. Like I go on foxnews.com every day and I read a few articles, 5-6 articles, and I just like... I like to see both sides. What are you laughing at?
Sorry. I'm just coming up with dumb jokes, but I'm not going to
hit
say.
me.
No. I was just picturing you watching Alex Jones for like 5 hours of your workday and people walking by and thinking things about you. I see all sides.
It's good to know where everyone's coming from. I do not watch Alex Jones videos, but I will, because I know that a large majority of conservatives do get their news from foxnews.com. So I'm just interested to know the way that those pieces are written, like sort of the tone that they take. And then, of course, I read a lot of CNN. And I actually don't read super like far left stuff, surprisingly. Like I think CNN, although they're like center left. But anyway, long story long is like I'm actually am fascinated in the argument from the other side. So like when I'm reading this thing, it did actually seem kind of like obvious advice to me.
Shane, do you think you're good at convincing people to take another side?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm very manipulative.
Who would you say you change the mind of Alex very often?
But how I change people's minds is so they don't even know their minds are being changed.
You're that good. You're like Obama.
Well, it's just I'm not extreme with when somebody's really like passionate. I won't fight them the way they want me to. I'll kind of like agree with them and I'll listen. Yeah.
Mike, what do you think?
I'm probably more abrasive, or I'll get passionate, but I do think that I have to, like I do listen. Like I like I've had conversations with family members who lean very much more right. I was in a long car ride actually with one over the last couple months, and we ended up having a very long conversation sort of about ideology and sort of political leanings and all that stuff. But I thought it was a great conversation because like all of our friends tend to sort of think the same way. So it's like you kind of end up in an echo chamber. So I actually like being around people who come from a different point of view. And then I'm like, why do they come from that point of view? And is that interesting? Like, do I think that they're, wrong? Are there places in the middle that we can meet? Are their views sort of like harmful to other groups and people? And then I like to have those conversations and then just sort of like let them say what they're saying and then ask you know, why they feel the way that they feel if they would consider this, and then I'll bring up something that's like a counterpoint. But I try not to, and I do this sometimes, is because I sometimes anticipate what people are going to say. I'll answer questions they haven't even asked yet in anticipating it, and Danica gets very frustrated with me about this.
Will you explain that again?
Like, I think I know where she's going to go, so I'll actually stop her before she even asks me, and I'll sort of like do that thing. But I know that is incredibly frustrating to people in my life. I'm sure I've done it to Shane when we're having conversations.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know it's so I try to quell my need to do that. Even though I do think like I'm probably like firing at about 85%, I actually do know where people are going. But even if you know, people don't like that. It's like, fuck off. No, like, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you gain by that? So I try to step back and actually be better in those ideological conversations.
Or sometimes you already have a good rebuttal. So if the person is kind of making that point, I'm using like the everybody, you
generally,
you, everyone does this. They'll bring up the great point that you weren't even arguing against, just so they get something really juicy and awesome in there. Find that happens often.
It's interesting. This tactic that we're talking about kind of reminds me almost of like what therapists do. Well, I've never seen a therapist, but I know lots of people who have, and they talk about like this idea. If you can talk your way through problems, and a therapist isn't going, well, actually, what you should probably do is this, or what this means, this means, this means. They don't come out. They just kind of let you keep talking, and then they go, but what about that? And then it leads you down a different direction.
Absolutely.
And then by the time you reach the end of the hour, you go, oh, I've actually worked through a problem and I'm actually in a probably better place than I was before, ideally. And it's the same thing when you're maybe arguing with someone who has because there's nothing more annoying for the other person than just to go head to head and be butting heads the whole time and just go, well, actually this. But if you let them come to you, it's actually, they can find maybe a better answer.
I think therapists suck. I hate them. Like they never.
No, but you just said you do what they do. That's my point.
No, but I give the answers to the people I'm manipulating.
No, but you said you let them
Shane
talk.
has a book coming out in a year.
I do,
Yeah.
but like I went to a therapist before. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get some answers. She's like, how does that make you feel? It's like this way, and it's like a kid who just goes, why is this guy?
How many sessions did you go to?
Just one, and I was out. It was such a waste of money, man.
Well,
like all these people who love therapy, I'm like, what are you learning there, man? Nothing.
Well, I'd say it takes more than one session to get some results.
Shane's personality type too, though, is he reads like a lot of literature that are like sort of like how-tos, self-helps. Like you'll read like, you know, the laws of success, ways to be successful, like sort of like things that will sort of help him gain tools in life. He likes answers. He likes like, show me the path, show me the way, and I can learn this. To his point, am I right about that?
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, that's not necessarily a therapist's job, is to give you answers. So he's not getting what his money's worth.
Well, it's like, well, why do you think that, Shane? It's like, I don't know. That's why I'm here. Tell me. Why am I thinking this?
Well, I'd say that you know, to give it an honest shot, most people would say you need to build a bit of a rapport, and then maybe results start to happen. But also, therapy's not for everybody. It feels like there's a lot of people who can read a book and go, "Oh, I feel much better because this actually gives my life some more clarity," which is literally the point of
Have
therapy.
you done therapy?
No.
I think the whole gimmick is, it's like, next time I'll tell you. So it's always this carrot dangling that never comes. Stay, it's a process, Shane. We're learning together. And then it's like 3 years deep and you didn't learn shit. I honestly think.
Oh, man. Well, there's probably some therapists out there that might disagree. And so,
Of course, it's in their best interest.
You know, I know. I'll just say that. There's probably people who have been to therapy who very much disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not the therapist.
Yeah, but they just like a soothing voice.
Yeah, and you know what? That might work for some people. Yeah.
I ultimately, you know, we talk about this with things like religion, with therapy, with like whatever can sort of ease your way through what is otherwise a pretty difficult life at times. It's like, do what works for you.
Oh yeah, whatever works.
Gets
I'm
you
not
through the
gonna.
night.
Yeah,
The old John Lennon song.
I'm just saying I hate them.
Yeah. Shane is the next poop thrower.
At therapy office?
Just goes to the U of T psychology office.
Yeah. And then as part of the sentence after he gets caught is to go to therapy. It's like, but
Why did you do that, Shane?
But you have an iron diaper like Hannibal Lecter.
Oh man,
I like that joke way more than everybody else in the room.
Okay, let me pull up these.
All right, so we're wrapped on topics. I think we're going to user questions, which is exciting. And I will say, we did have Intern Erica compile a bunch of these.
Yeah.
I've actually been sort of off the phone all day because Winnie's a little bit sick. I had to pull her to daycare, so I haven't really read anything. So I'm going in cold to all these. So any answers you get from me, I have not seen these questions.
We don't have to keep. This is gonna be more rapid fire.
Okay, so
have to be
not
like
in-depth
long.
answers.
All right, this is a quick one. This is from Sheila Evans, pod fan, Arkell's fan. Hi, Sheila. Ugly Christmas sweaters, yay or nay? And who wears them out of you guys? I can see Shane wearing them for sure.
Yeah, I'll wear one. I'll put a jacket over it though. Looks kind of cooler that way, and it doesn't look like you're trying to be so hipstery.
I like ugly Christmas sweaters. Shane and I did like a segment, like a mixology thing 2 years ago for Much, and we had to go buy stupid like Christmas sweaters, and I still have the one that the shoot paid for because I like it, and it will come in handy over the holidays. So yay for me.
I didn't know you got that paid for. My mom got me mine.
Yeah, built
Interesting.
Back, I think.
Yeah, I like them. I
Yeah.
like it.
In.
Okay. What up? This is from Kiana. This is an awesome pod listener and Arkell's fan too. What up? Because you guys are all basketball enthusiasts, I was curious what you thought about the potential rollout of a shorter NBA season, Thanksgiving tournament, and play-ins for 7 to 10 seeds to make the playoffs. For the 7 ranked to 10 ranked seeds to make the playoffs.
Yeah, this is a huge NBA story that I actually haven't even talked about with my NBA friends yet.
You haven't talked about it.
I haven't talked to anyone about it, but I mean, I have thoughts. But yeah, the Woj and Zach Lowe, former podcast, are reporting that the NBA is considering radical changes like Max just described. I think I'm kind of for it. Like, I really am, only because like I know the argument against is it messes with historical records, meaning like the Bulls that won, whatever it was, the 72 games or 71 games, can't remember, or like scoring records. It's like everyone played 82 games. That's how we measure modern basketball against history. But ultimately, I think if it makes it more fun in the season, or there's like sort of like a European football soccer style tournament in the middle of the season, like imagine all of us getting excited about a tournament in December for the Raptors, like. Especially if you're a shitty team. Like, the Raptors are a really good team. They're like a top 5 team in the NBA. But, like, say you're one of those teams that's, like, sitting around 15, 16. That's what you have to be excited about. So, if it makes the product better and makes the game more fun and gives you a reason to be excited for, like, listen, I'm going to watch every game no matter what. So, I'm not really the target. I'm watching all 82 games. I'm in for the playoffs. I consume the product at such a crazy level. But if for, like, the peripheral people that might actually, like, bring more people in, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, the reason that the league exists is to generate revenue and interest, and I think that this might do it. So I'm not super traditionalist when it comes to it. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
I don't like change, so I say keep it the same. I like the game with inside the game too, meaning if you're doing load management, little tricks, and getting other players to play who might not normally play, that's great for player development, which I think like the Raptors were kind of forced into with the injury of Serge and Kyle.
Yep.
And it really brought guys on the floor who were like, this guy's not actually a bench player. He's kind of like a pretty good guy. You know what I mean? With, what's his name? Who's the Rodman guy we got?
Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Yeah, without those injuries,
Yeah.
he kind of really emerged out of that as like a decent player.
Because he couldn't crack the rotation, and then now he's been amazing.
So I think with a longer season, load management will probably be the realistic solution they're going to do, and then players like that guy will get more time.
Traditionalists, keep it the same.
Yeah, but with a little game inside the game, and that it's like a chess game. Like, how are you going to play your really good guys and stuff like that?
I like it. I like the idea of trying different things. It's funny. It's like baseball for a very long time only had, the winner of each division make the playoffs, and then they add the wild card. And I think the wild card is actually really good for baseball because there's like a play-in game. They've expanded it on a couple of occasions, and I think it just makes the season more exciting because there's more teams that get a chance to make the playoffs.
People love that playing game.
Yeah, the playing game is really good.
Game.
So I think that's a good example. Also, they did a thing where they started to do interleague baseball. I remember for the first 5 seasons when the National League started to play the American League, it was very exciting. I was like, oh, this is so cool. The Blue Jays get to play the Chicago Cubs.
And a pitcher's going to hit.
And a pitcher's going to hit. Like, those things were awesome changes, and I'm glad they expanded it. And, but I'd also say I'm kind of over interleague play. I wouldn't mind if that didn't exist anymore. So when it comes to basketball...
Why is that even a big deal, like interleague?
Well, because forever, up until basically
like the Yankees never would have played the Cubs.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit?
Well,
MLB fans, they want to see 2 iconic teams play.
But it's just baseball teams playing baseball teams. It's not.
Imagine if the Raptors never had a chance to play the Lakers. because they were in a different division.
Yeah, but you said you're over interleague.
No, I'm saying the first 5 years I thought it was really cool. Now I don't really care quite as much. I wouldn't even mind.
So is the
separation.
argument that change eventually becomes stale?
No, I'm just saying I think the argument is let's try things and see what really sticks and feels good over time and what you can live without. So it's like now in baseball, I kind of like the idea of teams have never facing each other after we've had this chance to see them play against each other. But I'm really happy that there's a wild card game. You know what I mean? So I think wild card is the one that sticks. Interleague thing, I'm glad we tried. I don't need to see it anymore. That's just me personally. So with this NBA playoff stuff, with like this tournament idea, maybe it's shit. Maybe it's like this is frivolous and we don't need it, or maybe it's like, oh, this actually makes the Christmas holidays amazing, or whatever it is, right? And so I just think that people need to be open to experiment a little bit more because you never know what you're gonna stumble onto, like, and to give it time to see if it's a good idea. I always think about like municipal politics when it comes to like in Hamilton the bus lane, where basically it's like it was a 6-month pilot project to see if we could have a bus lane in downtown Hamilton. Everybody fucking complained about it because it made like one less lane for traffic. Every driver was like, "Oh, it's congested downtown," but it's just like. And then after 6 months, they got rid of it because there was enough complaining about it. But I was like, I think you need like a year and a half to see if people's habits change, and maybe it's for the betterment of the city because more people are taking the bus. And the best example of this, though, is the King Street pilot project in Toronto, where basically cars are not allowed to drive on King Street for more than one block because it's only that road is designated mostly for the streetcar. So between Yonge Street and Bathurst, there's only a King Street, and so there's only a streetcar, and it makes. We have some drinks coming.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
please.
Wow, someone just.
Dan, this is the
geez.
best. Is this at that?
Wow.
Thank you. You going? Or what are you doing?
Oh, jeez.
This is we're getting a drink delivered from our very own Dan Howie.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I was fresh out, so this is perfect.
Let's go Raps.
Thank you. Go Raps. But and when they first started this pilot project, all the restaurant owners were like, "We fucking hate this. Where are our customers going to park their car?" And then everyone was like, "Wait a second. Everyone's just living in a condo, walking to your restaurants. Can we just try this?" A year later, it's a massive success, and I'm glad we kind of pushed through.
Is it weird that guy didn't bring me or Mike a drink?
I feel like, well, he doesn't know you guys. I feel like he was even looking at you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
weird, man.
Wasn't that weird?
Poor taste.
What are we just gonna hand? pass
I
this
do
thing
know
around?
that guy.
Well, we need Shaney to have a sip
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that he can get excited about coming to this lawyer
He's
party.
not even done his drink.
Well, I need a delicious
okay, he didn't
pineapple
finish
drink.
his first one. And
I'm not done.
All right. Yeah. So me and Shane me and Max are in favor
That's
of
pretty
these
good.
new rule changes and proposals. Shaney, as a traditionalist, says, "Fuck it, keep it the same."
It's pretty drastic, though. Adding wild cards
It
a lot
really is.
less than shortening an NBA season.
Reseeding too. They talk about, which is I think kind of cool.
Okay, I don't totally understand this, but I'm going to try to read it anyway. The Motley Crue farewell tour, comeback tour. As
Who
a
wrote
topic.
this?
This is from Andrew Hyde.
Okay.
From online.
I can explain it.
Do fans have, quote, a right to be mad after the whole contract to never tour thing? The joke about free tickets, only, et cetera, only to come back, or is this par for the course with farewell tours these days?
So let's just set up the story. I don't know the story.
So Motley Crue did a whole gimmick where
I'm
it was
surprised
like,
you know this.
Well, I like Motley Crue.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
he's part of the crew.
For my 30th birthday, I went to a concert. Like
Motley
for the big
Crue?
3-0, yeah. My stepdad, Brad, made me a leather jacket that said Motley Crue on the back. It was very cool, actually.
Do you still have it?
I don't know where it went.
Have people ever compared you to Tommy Lee?
With all these tats, I compare myself to him quite often, actually.
You got a bit of a Tommy Lee vibe. I can see people saying
I like
that.
it.
Yeah.
He's cool. What was I saying? Oh, okay. So, I'm like Tommy Lee. No, I'm kidding. Basically, Motley Crue.
That is delicious, by the way.
It is. Motley Crue did a big cash grab move where they're like, "We promise we're never touring again. This is our last tour." And they
How many
signed
years ago?
It was probably like 4 years ago. Signed a contract that they'd never tour again, and now they have this whole campaign. It's like, leave it to Motley Crue to break the rules, and then they tear apart their contract and like light it on fire, and the screen explodes, and then like,
Wow.
so now they're back for the last time ever. Like, get your chance.
Of course.
It's like when Disney used to be like, Dumbo's going in the vault.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? It's going to come out of the vault. It's pretty easy to see Dumbo.
Yeah.
But my mom would get so scared, like, Dumbo's going to be gone. So she would scoop up all the Disney films.
Your mom was in the demo. Disney's tricking.
50-year-old women, dumb.
So do we think it's disingenuous? Obviously. Do we think that they're like it's a marketing play from the start? Probably. Do we think that it's fraud?
It's just you can't be fooled. It's like clickbait. It's like when Jay-Z and it was Kanye and 50 Cent said that they're going to whoever doesn't get the #1 album sale is going to retire.
Yeah.
It's like they're not retiring. It's like a big joke when a rapper says he's retiring.
Yeah. Music's all fun and games, really. Especially with a goofy band like Motley Crue. It's like who gives a shit what we actually get mad about it. It's like Elton John's been on this farewell tour. But the farewell tour was a 2.5 year or like 3 year tour. He's been through Toronto like 6 times.
I know he keeps coming back.
Yeah,
and I love Elton. I'd love to go to a show.
I'd love to. And then you're like, this is the last time.
Yeah.
You're like, well, he's got like 6 more dates on this farewell.
Did you go to
tour.
any of them?
I went to the one Madison Square Garden.
Oh,
It
nice.
was very good.
I got to lean on our buddy the Nut. I'd love to go see Elton.
Yeah, he's good. He finishes every song and he like kind of hits the top of the piano, stands up and gives like, I did that. And he's like kind of pointing at himself after
Interesting.
he finishes every song. It's good.
It's a comedy bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't think he's being to be funny.
I'm proud that he wrote these massive hits.
Yeah.
But he has a partner who writes the lyrics.
The lyrics,
Yeah.
exactly. Which
That's
some would say is the
interesting.
hardest part. Would you ever work with a lyric writer, Max?
No, we've done some co-writes in the past where the people have helped with lyrics.
But I mean, do you really feel like the lyrics are your voice? That's how people are connecting with you? Or like, let's say an amazing poet came along and was like, here's the lyrics, just write melodies and chords around
It's a
it.
good question because I think I'd like to think that like the Arkell sort of like storytelling worldview like comes sort of from me. Not to say that I haven't had a ton of help from the guys in the band and other producers and this and that, but to be totally removed from that might feel a little foreign. But then I go, is that my ego getting in the way? Should I just like try to experiment with something different? I don't know.
What if Bernie Taupin, Elton's guy, gave you, he's like, here are 5 songs.
That's a good like press angle. So I'd be like, yo, Arkell's and Bernie did a song together. So
That's
yep.
true.
Do you think if I wrote the lyrics for Knocking at the Door, same melody, everything, do you think it would be as popular or more popular?
What would the song be? But
I'm horny. And then it would still be I'm knocking at the door.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.